Hi, everybody. It's Angelo Caruso. Welcome to the Talk to Me podcast. My guest today is Brittany Hanna. How are you, Brittany?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Before we get started, I want to remind our listeners that you can watch the video version of this conversation on the Angelo Caruso YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Just click that red button and also ring that silver notification bell to be notified of new content. You can also listen to the audio version on most platforms. If you're watching on video today, you can listen on Podbean, iTunes. And I've had the good fortune, Brittany, of interviewing so many interesting people like yourself that I just think it's fun learning from people who have gone through things that maybe, speaking for myself, I may never go through. And that's certainly the case with you. For a young person, you've had a lot of stuff in your life.
I've lived almost my 9 lives.
Yeah. How old are you now? Do you mind me asking?
Not at all. I'm 28. I'll be 29 next month.
Okay. And you got a little Southern accent. I know you're from Arkansas. Is that true?
Yes.
But you're not in Arkansas right now. You're on an interesting assignment because you're in healthcare. You called it COVID deployment. Tell everybody what that means.
Yeah, so I'm an ICU nurse, and when the pandemic started, um, FEMA started contracting out nurses.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, the state declares a state of an emergency, and then they partner with FEMA, and the company that I'm with right now is Crucial Staffing. So they're the ones that partner with FEMA and the state. So
Most people are bubbled up right now. You're traveling. What is that like?
yes, kind of crazy, but I'm used to traveling. So
Okay. You enjoy it?
yeah, I've been traveling since 2017 as an ICU nurse.
Okay. And for those of you paying attention, it's January of 2022 right now. So just to put some time frame to this, you grew up in Arkansas, and did you start with a nuclear family? Some families don't these days. Some children don't. Did you have a mother and father at the beginning?
Uh, for about the first 3 years of my life, I don't really remember.
What happened? Dad split?
So something happened in their marriage and they got divorced. And from what I understand from family members, it's not really clear, but at some point my mom began using meth, and she was a nurse. She graduated nursing school when I was a baby, like maybe 1 or 2. And something happened and she just got into methamphetamine somehow.
Most people, I don't know if most people in healthcare, but most people don't start with meth. There's some sort of I'm not big on the
Yeah.
drug culture, but it seems to me there's like a slide that you go down. Did you
Yeah.
notice something like that with your mom?
Well, I was so young at the time she started using, but from what I hear from family members, it was just kind of strange. I guess it just was like I would assume it was probably a little gradual, but maybe not anything that people who typically knew her thought she would do. So it
Right,
was kind of out of the norm, so they wouldn't suspect it.
right.
But I know that her father was very strict with her and her sister while they were growing up. I'm not sure if that had something to do with it, but they were strict Pentecostal.
Yeah. Uh, how many siblings do you have?
So I have 6. I'm the only one by my mom and dad, but with my dad, I have 2 stepbrothers and a stepsister and a half sister. And then with my mom, I have a half brother and a half sister. They're
Okay.
twins.
All right. So there's a lot going on at home when dad left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my dad didn't leave. So my mom kind of went out of control, I guess, and started partying a lot, wasn't really home. And then my dad, he stuck around for a long time. It was just me and my dad for a while. And then he eventually got remarried when I was about 6, I believe. and they relocated to Northwest Arkansas, and I stayed with my grandparents.
I see. What did your dad do for a living?
At the time, he drove a dump truck and laid asphalt, things like that, and I used to go to work with him a lot.
Okay,
But when he moved, he became a master electrician, and that's where he is now, is where I currently reside in Fayetteville, Arkansas,
okay,
and he owns an electrical company.
okay. So mom was a nurse, dad was in the trades,
Mhm.
and mom, something happened that tilted mom in a dark direction. You're not sure what caused that, huh?
No, the only thing I can come up with is maybe she was so sheltered, and her parents or her dad was so strict on her growing up that whenever she became an adult, maybe she didn't know what to do, or maybe she had some postpartum depression after having me. I'm not certain.
So then there was another change to the family that triggered something in you. Your mom wasn't done having children yet, huh?
No. So my mom ended up going to prison when I was like uh, right before I turned 13, maybe, or 14. And
And what
we
did
were
she go?
actually
Sorry, Brittany, what did she go to prison for?
meth possession, and I think there was something else there as well. But this had been years building up. So um, she had she had been using a lot, and I was actually with her when she got arrested. We were in a cop chase, and she went to prison for, I believe, a year and a half or close to 2 years.
Yeah.
And then when she got out, she relapsed for a while, and then she got pregnant when I was 16. And then we discovered it was twins.
So when she came out of prison, was she clean?
She was for, I think, maybe 6 months or so,
She must have,
maybe.
yeah, she must have been clean when she came out and then relapsed.
Yeah.
So it became the meth and the drug use became kind of a lifestyle for her.
Yes.
Um, was there
I
a
just,
father? There must have been a father of the twins. Was he around? How did your mom explain that to you?
yeah, so I met him before she got pregnant. I think that they met at some like AA meeting or something of the sort, a
Right.
rehab program. Um, he was really nice, but the two of them together were just very toxic, and they both did drugs together a lot.
Okay. So when you found out your mom was pregnant with twins, at what age?
16.
This this woke something up in your head about your future and what you needed to do. What did you decide to do at that point?
I actually remember where I was when she told me that. I was in Oklahoma, Durant, Oklahoma, with a friend for the summer, just teenagers visiting her family. And she told me, and I was sitting outside, and I thought, that means I'm going to be a mom.
You thought that meant you were going to be a mom
Yes.
because your mom wouldn't be able to take care of the babies?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did that feel as a teenager?
Uh, overwhelming.
Yeah.
I just started thinking about my whole life. I was like, oh, I need to get a career quickly. How am I going to make money? How am I going to take care of them? How am I going to get on my feet?
Yeah. And what did you decide to do?
I went to nursing school.
Okay. So you
I
graduated high school, I assume first.
I did. Yes, I got my butt into gear. My grades weren't that great before this. I was doing a little better before this, but I really started thinking about college when she told me she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So, um, man, I hustled hard in school. I brought my GPA up. I think I think I had a 3.8 or somewhere between a 3.5 and a 3.8, I think. When I graduated high school, I got $35,000 in scholarship money to go to college,
Yeah.
and I got my nursing degree basically for free at a community college in Arkansas.
Free because of a scholarship?
Yes.
Okay. And, that's an interesting fork in the road because you could have gone either way for you, right? You could have said all is lost. You could have thrown in the towel. You could have
Yeah.
become like your mom.
Yeah. I didn't have any interest in becoming like that because I witnessed firsthand what kind of destruction that caused, and I didn't want that for my life or anyone around me.
Right. Okay. So you're a nurse now. We know that. And the youngsters, the twins, how old are they now?
They just turned 12 in December.
Wow. And did you tell me offline there was some other drama too, that they witnessed something, the kids did?
Yes. So I decided to go back to school from being a nurse to pre-med to become a doctor.
Right?
And while I was in my pre-med courses, I got a phone call from Department of Human Services, and they told me that the kids had witnessed a murder and at their residence, and they were basically taking action in this situation.
They were taking action?
Yeah, in this situation to help the kids.
Oh, the Human Services Division was
Yeah,
taking action.
I
How
think
old were,
actually my mom asked them to call me, I believe. But I my mom doesn't know this, I don't think, but I had to make several calls to Child Protective Services for a couple of years before this even happened.
you called them on your mom?
Yes.
Yeah. How old were the children when they witnessed the murder?
8.
Oh my. And what happened?
So, to my understanding, it was a situation involving drugs that went bad. I had actually spoken to my mom a couple of hours before the murder happened, and I was on my way to class, and I knew that she was high. She was crying. There was a lot of commotion in the background. I was really concerned. Um, I went to class, and when I got out of class, I was very anxious. And it was 11 p.m. that night when I got a phone call that the murder happened around 4. Uh, so a guy who, I guess he had some issues. I don't know if he was schizophrenic or if he was just using drugs. I'm not sure. But my mom was hanging around him and a guy. The kids thought that we were related to the shooter. And I don't think that we are. But the guy just showed up and saw the other guy. They were all at my mom's house at the time. She lived with a random guy, and he just walked up to him and shot him through a vehicle in the chest with a 30-30.
So the vehicle was parked outside where your mom was living with the twins?
Yeah, and the kids were outside along with everyone else.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe he accused the guy of killing one of his friends or family members, and he just shot him.
And the police came, arrested somebody, I hope?
I don't think it was that straightforward from the articles that I was reading. I think that my mom and the shooter took the guy that was shot to a neighbor's house who was a paramedic who tried to revive him unsuccessfully. And then from there, police were called and people just kind of scattered. I guess my mom and the shooter tried to run somehow. It's kind of a mess from there. I'm not really sure what happened.
How does your mom cope with all of this drama? Does she shrug it off as a coincidence? All this stuff happens to me. Does she not understand that she's somehow at the center of it? Or
I
is
don't,
she at, or is she at the center of it?
she definitely is based off of her choices,
Okay.
but, in my opinion, but I don't think that she recognizes that. I think she thinks that these are all just negative circumstances that are happening around her
Yeah.
and that they don't have anything to do with the choices that she's made.
Right. That's really turning out to be what this conversation's about, is choices and how you can
Yeah.
go left or right. And one's the sunny side of the street, one's the dark side of the street. And
Yeah.
even when you're on the dark side of the street, you can always cross back over, almost always.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's mom doing now? How is she?
Not good. She is using again. Um, so she actually went to prison after all of that.
A second time?
Yes.
Hmm.
And I had the kids, and then I think she spent like 4 to 6 months in prison, and then she got out on a um, what is it, parole, I think, for she went into a halfway house for rehab and
Wait,
completed that.
yeah,
But
sorry.
she
Sorry, when she went in the second time, what were the charges?
possession and
Okay.
neglect.
And neglect.
Hmm.
Okay. And how old is mom now?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I think she's maybe 49-ish,
How is she?
49 or 50.
How is she physically? I hear meth is hard on a person.
Yeah. I know that she has some kidney issues and some heart issues, um, which is to be expected with her drug use history.
Yeah. And so are you, you're supporting the kids, you're raising the kids still?
Yes.
And how do you do that if you're on call with your unusual job, or you're working remotely?
Previously, my husband has helped me a lot, but more recently, he started working, and we actually had some issues in our marriage recently, and he started working a lot. I really wanted him to help me out a lot more, so I hired a nanny. So I'm paying a nanny to watch the kids 24/7.
Because you have to work, and maybe the only assignment that's come in is this what are you calling it? The
Deployment.
COVID deployment. Because they
Mhm.
could send you anywhere, right?
Yes. But Texas, I know that I would be somewhere in Texas. They tell you what state.
Okay. All right. Wow. That's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, and I have to be on these deployments the next day. So they tell me the job's available, and it's like a competition for everyone to call in the phone lines and get a spot, and you
Right.
have to be there the next day.
Right. What does the future hold? You can get work, I suppose, after the pandemic is done,
Yes.
near your kids or what do you call them? They're not really your children.
I call them my brother and sister.
And you're literally raising them in very difficult circumstances. I think you've done an amazing job. I can't imagine all of the challenges that come with this
Yeah,
potpourri of negative situations.
it's pretty rough. And not to mention, my siblings have issues of their own from going through all this trauma and all of this crazy stuff. So my brother really has a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah.
He's made zero progress in his trauma therapy since we got him.
Yeah.
He's been in and out of psychiatric hospitals for the past 2 years.
Why do you suppose you're so strong and have done so well, and your siblings not so much?
I don't think that, honestly, I think that they've done well. I don't think that they haven't. I know that my brother has a lot of issues, but to me, that's to be expected. And he's just going to have to, unfortunately, learn how to work through them. But they're both really smart and really capable, and they show a lot of potential and a lot
Okay,
of,
that's good.
yeah.
I think people,
Surprisingly, they're holding up pretty well considering
People
everything.
cope in different ways, don't they?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm like this. I don't know. If I just got a gene of some sort, or if I just took my circumstances and ran with it. It's like a personality thing. I don't know, but I'm thankful for it, whatever it is.
Just a couple more questions, Brittany. Do you think that raising um, siblings who are so much younger than you has impacted your decision about having children of your own?
Yes. Um, so I haven't really thought much about having my own kids since they were born. Uh, I just never really gave it much thought because I knew that I was going to have this responsibility. Like, I basically already have um, dependents. So from a young age, um, my husband and I discussed this before we got married. I told him, here, this is where I'm at. This could potentially be a thing down the road, getting the kids, which I don't think that he took me as seriously as I was, but he was all about it when it did happen, and he's made a lot of sacrifices too. So I think that having him definitely helped me to overcome a lot of things.
Yeah,
Um, but just being who I am, I think I would have done that regardless somehow.
yeah, yeah. What is your wish for people who are struggling in, I don't know about similar situations because everybody's different, but certainly negative, seemingly unsolvable situations like you were and are?
Yeah.
What do you hope
Uh,
that they get from conversation like this?
I hope that people can um have some hope and know that anything's possible with whatever work and determination that you're willing to put into it. It might be really difficult, but failure leads to success. So
Failure leads to success. What do you mean?
you can't have success without failure.
Because a lot of times you have to fail first, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you learn from your failures to be able to succeed. So if there's not, that's just what I've come to figure out.
yeah,
If there's not failure, there's not growth. And without growth, you can't succeed.
yeah. Well, I really appreciate you sharing and reliving some of these terrible situations. I know it must be hard for you, but my gosh, it seems like you're coping better than almost anybody I know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I wish you the best of luck with everything moving forward, not only raising the kids and maybe getting them on their own path, but also your career. And we'll get you back home once the pandemic dries up and get you in a solid 9 to 5 or whatever.
I'll probably be in school at that point. I hope.
You're going to go back to school?
Yeah, to be a physician. And I plan on joining the military to help pay for that and also pay me to go to school.
All right. Well, it sounds like you have a plan. You have it worked out. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you both on the iTunes platform, or sorry, the podcast platforms, and also on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Brittany Hanna, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you.